Hey guys, this is Rainbows here, casting Game 3 of the Gosu Cup Finals. This is the best of 5 between LucifroN, Yellow Terran, and HayprO Red Zerg. The map is Steppes of War. Steppes of War is an interesting map. It's very, very small and compact. It's not quite as small as the new one, as Desolation Zone, or it starts with the Des. It's the lava map where both of you are like right next to each other and you're like, grrr. And there's a gold base right between you and you've got backdoor rocks. But anyway, point is, Steppes of War is not as small as the new map that starts with a D. HayprO is spawning the top position, Red Zerg, versus LucifroN, Yellow Terran. And if you have not watched the first 2 games of this, then please go do so, because I'm about to spoil the crap out of them. We are tied 1-1 with basically the same build both games from both players. LucifroN has gone Hellion Marauders, and then backed it up with Thors like a little bit, almost too late in the second game. In the first game, he barely got that Thor up in time, and he also got a whole bunch of missile turrets up. But in the first game, rather, he barely got the Thor up in time, and he got a whole bunch of missile turrets. But in the second game, that Thor was way too late. He didn't have anywhere near enough anti-air, and he died to HayprO's Muta Speedling build. HayprO's also been getting a Baneling nest, but he hasn't really been making much use of it. We can see that he's actually scouting in with 2 drones, so it looks like he's looking to put a whole bunch of hurt on his opponent. We have not seen a pool go down yet, so he's going for a very, very economic opening again, which he has been favoring. Looks like LucifroN's going to be forced to pull 2 drones off the mineral line so that he can fend, or 2 SCVs, I'm sorry, so that he can fend off these drones. And he's going to go for a gas again. And he's got his barracks set up, and he's not going to build a 3rd supply depot. He is going to build a 3rd supply depot right here. So this is a signal to his opponent, to HayprO, that he's not going to get a very early tech lab, because that tech lab is going to want to go down right about where that supply depot is. And it does look like LucifroN is going to be able to fend off HayprO's drones finally. So HayprO is actually going to be out 2 drones, but he was able to kill an SCV, which kind of makes it worth it. So HayprO up in the cool decals. HayprO has gotten a pool down. I would say that was based on the timing. Probably actually a 13 pool. So the most conservative opening that we have seen off of him so far. I'm kind of curious to see whether or not he's going to expand right now. It does not look like he's moving out with the drone. He's actually stealing LucifroN's gas again. And again, I'm really curious about the wisdom of this. I mean, an extractor does have a lot more health than a drone, but an extractor is completely immobile, and a drone you can actually mic around a bit. LucifroN did move his barracks a little bit, and he is going to get a tech lab down. I'm sorry that I completely got that wrong. I was not aware until just now that you could just lift off a barrack so beautifully right here. LucifroN is just following the supply depot, so he is a little bit vulnerable to a Baneling bust, and he's going to come out with a very fast Reaper again. It's not the fastest thing in the world. He's not cheesing Reapers. He's not going like 6 racks, 6 gas or anything. But it is a relatively fast Reaper, and it is going to be able to put a whole bunch of pressure on HayprO, especially if HayprO goes for a fast expansion, as HayprO is doing. And HayprO is going to have Lings up in time, and that expansion is relatively late. He is going to have plenty of Lings up. But those Reapers are still going to be able to do a fair amount of damage, and Steppes of War is not the best Reaper map. Again, it's going to be a little like the second game on Blistering Sands, where these Reapers are going to be able to get pushed off just a lot easier than they were on Coolus, just because Coolus is so hilly, and HayprO actually is expecting the Reapers, because he knows exactly what LucifroN has been doing all of these games, so he's just going to move out his queen. LucifroN is going to go ahead and put down a command center of his own. HayprO already has his queen up in place, so this Reaper is not going to be able to do any damage to this Expo, and he's got Zerglings just positioned perfectly, so this Reaper's just going to move straight into them and get taken down, 30 health, almost immediately. Some very, very, very nice... 2 kills on it? Oh my gosh, what have I been missing? Reaper just gets taken down immediately, and gets pushed off. Command Center is going out for LucifroN. This Command Center is going to enable him to just hold an economic... not advantage, but it's gonna, well, yes, advantage if he goes orbital command. It's gonna definitely enable him to keep up with the Zerg opponent, and LucifroN is going for a relatively early factory. His second Reaper is going to take down this extractor very quickly, just because Reapers do so much damage to buildings. And I'm just really curious to see if we see the same builds again for both players. LucifroN does have a factory, and if we see him get a reactor, we can see speed coming up for HayprO again. Relatively late layer. He's at around 34. So, definitely not the fastest layer in the world. LucifroN knows exactly what his opponent's been doing. I mean, he could get 1 Reaper off of this tech lab and just tech straight to Banshees. And HayprO would have a very, very hard time dealing with that. And I'm just really curious why neither person is doing the same thing. Or LucifroN is just super vulnerable to a Baneling bust right now. And I understand that LucifroN would have a decent idea and a decent ability to scout a Baneling boss, but HayprO could easily fake an expansion, just cancel that as soon as he knows that LucifroN's seen it, fend off the first couple of Reapers, and then get down a Bane like this. And again, all of this is just, these Reapers are doing a massive amount of damage. 3 Reapers will one-shot a drone, and even with all of these Zerglings and this Queen, and you can see that they do have the high ground, so they do have vision, so they're going to be able to do a bunch of damage, and these Reapers are going to finally get pushed off by these Lings, just because Lings are so fast, Lings are so ridiculously overpowered against any sort of early harass or anything. And I'm not saying like, oh my god, nerf now overpowered, but they are very, very nice, and they enable Zerg to hold off Reapers and early scouts much better than other races. LucifroN is going to upgrade his orbital command before he lifts it over, and we will probably see him lower that supply depot on main and a bunch of these SCVs, just because he's got plenty mining in his main. And another factory come down for LucifroN, so we're going to see a tech deviation. We're going to see him do something a little bit different. A couple of Hellions and some Marauders are going to move in and deal with these Speedlings coming in to harass his freshly made. It looks like these mules are going to go down immediately. Amazing timing by HayprO. That's such a large economic blow. The Speedlings are going to more than pay for themselves immediately just because those mules got taken down. The mules are so critical for Terran to be able to do well. We can tell that HayprO is a really good player just by looking at this, because he's got 1 billion drones mining at both expansions, and he's very safe. The mark of a really good player is that they just get all of these guys up out of nothing. And I understand that we are decently far into the game. It does look like this might be a little bit of trouble here for HayprO, because he's got just a few Lings. He's got 12 Lings on the way, and he's actually going to have to deal with 4 Hellions and 4 Marauders, and these 4 Marauders are going to be more than enough to take them the Spinecrawler almost immediately. And they're just going to be, the Marauders are such nice support for the Hellions. They can tank, they can sell the Zerglings, and these Zerglings are going to get taken down. HayprO's in a very tough spot. I understand that I was just saying, oh my gosh, he's got so many drones, but the way he was able to build so many drones was he was cutting all of his combat units. He had so few Zerglings, and the Zerglings died so fast with these Hellions, and these Marauders tank so well for these Hellions. HayprO is in a very bad spot. HayprO has just lost 2 Queens, and he's being forced to pull all of the drones on his expansion to try to deal with these Hellions. Are positioned so well for LucifroN. These drones and Zerglings are basically being forced to hit the Marauders while the Hellions do a bunch of damage to them, and HayprO is going to GG. HayprO would have lost that expansion. So that was game 3. HayprO is down 1 game. LucifroN is up 1 game. So we are 2-1 LucifroN. So Terran is winning right now. This is a best of 5, so there are plenty of games left to be played. Very exciting series. Be sure to tune in with next one. Rainbows out.